Hello everyone, Paul here in the center of Bayeux, France, and going to do a review of the Overlord Tour, their 101st Airborne Tour. I don't know if you're a big fan of Band of Brothers like I am, but they actually take you along the same path the 101st came in on. They take you to certain places that Lieutenant Winters and Easy Company stayed after the invasion. So highly anticipate this tour. Did a lot of research. They had great reviews. They got personal ties to landowners, so they can take you off the beaten path. Highly recommend checking out overlordtours.com for that, and go ahead and get this review started. $100 per day. Van picks you up right over here in the center of Bayeux. There's a train station, post office, cathedral that way. So let's go hop on the bus and get this day started.
Where the 101st Airborne was dropped on the night of the 5th of June. North of Carentan, between Utah Beach and Carentan, are flooded. And that's the field you see around. They've been flooded by the Germans using that river lock over there. Georgia, in northwestern Georgia. That's where the series starts. It's in the summer. They will speak usually the languages of their different from the US now.
Alright, here we are, small town, about 20 people, and this is where the first C-47 got shot down and crashed about a half mile that way. Here's your memorial plaque, give you a closer look, some more info, and then we'll move on.
To give you an idea, that's the town hall over there. Mairie means town hall in French. And so, on D-Day, the troops landing on Utah Beach, their job after D-Day is to capture Sherbrooke, 25 miles north.
On D-Day they captured it?
No, that's after, after D-Day. That's their mission, is to capture Sherbrooke. So, it's 25 miles north, there's some high ground, they know it's good, it's heavily fortified. So, you know, the US Army knows it's going to take close beach obstacles, but the Germans have a second line of defenses on the other side of the flooded area, which is they have 4 howitzers here at a place called the Breaker Manor Battery. 4 howitzers here at the Holy Battery. 600 Georgians, so we are here in Buzzville. The headquarters is in Audouville-le-Hubert at the end of exit 3, but they are in this area, and they can intervene on any of the 4 roads quickly if needed. And finally, there's a gun battery with 4 guns under casemate in Saint-Martin-de-Varville on exit 4. So if invading troops get through the first line of defenses, they're going to start using one of the 4 roads. And then the Germans, once they would be on this narrow causeway surrounded by water, they're going to counterattack them. Send the 600 Georgians and shoot at them with the 8 howitzers they have over here. So the Allies know about the company we're going to see this afternoon, and then the 501st. Resume basically, the 501st has to secure the southern flank. So this is all flooded here between Carentan and so the bottom of the peninsula. So it's all flooded around here. So they want to isolate the Utah Beach sector, and for that, the 501st is going to be asked to blow up several bridges and hold several bridges, secure the southern flank. The 506 is going to clear exit 1 and exit 2, the end of these 2 exits, so this area over there. The 502nd is going to clear exit 3 and exit 4, this area over here, and also secure the northern flank by blocking this road to prevent any German coming from Sherbrooke toward Utah Beach. This aid, First Sergeant Evans, was played by the British actor Simon Pegg, if you know Simon Pegg. And then that's the whole headquarters section. That includes the medic, Private Oates. They have 3 medics above the English Channel, and then they came from the west. So coming from the west don't make any sense, for 2 reasons. First, you're going to have to cross the whole peninsula, 20 miles of German occupied land.
But that's what they did.
Very risky, because you're going to receive anti-aircraft fire. It would have been safer coming from the east, you crossing less land. Second thing, What are these two islands over there? Any idea?
Jersey Island?
Jersey and Guernsey. What's the situation, the status of Jersey and Guernsey? Occupied by the Germans, and not only occupied, that's the area in Europe with the most German defenses per square kilometer. It's a fortress. It's full of anti-aircraft guns. And why is it like that? Because Hitler is very proud of having captured British territories. That's the only British territory he's occupying. So you're going to fly under a lot of anti-aircraft fire, then 20 miles of land where you're going to see probably a lot of anti-aircraft fire as well. So why did they do that, you think?
Why did they do that?
There's a reason why they did that. Because it's actually safer.
Yeah, because there's so many aircraft coming this way.
That could have been, but no, that's not the reason.
Bad weather?
The issue is not the weather, it's not the...
Surprise.
The aircraft, no.
The wind.
Now let's think the other way around. Why is it dangerous? Of the 506th Regiment landed, or the 6th of paratroopers. In red, pointed out the ones of Easy Company. So that's where the company commander's plane crashed, the lead plane. That's where Meehan's, Winter's plane load landed. That's Lieutenant Welsh and other officers, his stick, that's where they landed. That's where they all landed, so same pattern.
And when you say landed, these are paratroopers that are coming out of the sky.
Yeah, it's like you have to imagine around these dots you have 18 paratroopers landing.
It wasn't the case with the Japanese.
Yeah. No.
Trust them.
Why would they be, where would you see that? Why would they be sent? Before we get in the car, I'll show you the video of Major Stuffman being interviewed in Paris. Then there was the attack on the harbor and he was sent to an internment camp. Good luck. So this is where we are at this intersection right there. So the floaty area starts behind the farm in 1944 and it's 2 miles long until Utah Beach. And this floaty area lands many paratroopers, some from Easy Company, but the majority of them are from that regiment, the 502nd Regiment, because it's the closest drop zone. And one of the men that land there is I think I'm going to need the help from someone. Can you hold on to me? It's that officer called Major John Stopka. He's from Wyoming, and he got the mid-drop paratroopers, 14 of them, and eventually evacuate the flooded fields. Gets on that road right here, and then he starts heading south along the road, heading back to his drop zone. Then he hears some German voices as he gets to that intersection right here, coming from the farm. It's not normally the men are not supposed to attack the Germans. One of the rules they had been given is if you get misdropped, you have to make it back to your drop zone, your assembly area. With that more Germans, he figured out than his troops, but with the effect of surprise, he could capture it. And so he charged the farm with the 14 paratroopers.
This farm, right?
Yeah, German, Georgians, probably some Georgians. And the battle lasted an hour and a half, but after an hour and a half, they had killed 20 Germans and captured 30 of them. And several Germans escaped behind the barn across the hills over there. So they stayed there in the farm, and the 502nd has one of the objectives to secure the northern flank. So it's not
A German Jeep.
an American Jeep.
Oh, American Jeep. Sorry.
An American Jeep drove to the roadblock, and on the Jeep there was a reporter. And one of the reporters, the reporter that was there, he wanted to take a picture of them. So several of these paratroopers came over here to the farmhouse, took pictures of them, sent them then over to the US, and one of the pictures he sent back became later one of the most published pictures of the deal landings in the newspapers.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the one right over here. I don't know if you've ever seen that picture before, but it was all over the newspapers at that time. So they all from the 502nd Regiment. The man holding the flag is called James Flanagan. He said he found this Svastika flag he's posing with inside the kitchen of the farm, which is just behind this rusty bar over there. It was hanging on the wall.
That's right there.
Yes. And you have this one holding, you know, see, well, the flag, by the way, he kept it until 1984, and he gave it from 1984 to Fort Sherbrooke, Kentucky. The flag is now just 100% 1 years ago, or 50 years later. This man, look at his helmet. Bullet hole. A shot in the head. His name is Pierre. Korea. By the way, you have a captured German tracked vehicle from the farm. You can see all they're screaming "Yo, patriots" everywhere. The whole paratroopers. So they're all lined up right here. See this window with a metal bar? That's this rusty metal bar across the window.
So there are 100 paratroopers here, but they're really off course. They're not
On the building with the same tracked vehicle. You can recognize the two windows.
So how do you block a road if you're just a paratrooper?
Just with branches, I don't know, you just prevent any vehicle from using it, put all the rubble you can, or rocks. I explained to you yesterday, but that's U.S. Army war mesh you can see over here, so you won't see it on the pictures. This is the war mesh, what is called the aviation engineers. So the Germans were here because they wanted to turn this farm into a strong point. They thought the best type of camouflage would be to hide your guns inside a farm. No one would think about bombing a farm. So they cut this hole, for example, right here in the wall to cover the road leading to this small path leading to Utah Beach. It's a good location. It's at the end of the flooded area. You have this path leading to the beach. So they cut this hole, and probably they had cut the vegetation you had across as well. Bushes. We're going to come here in a few weeks and just inform them of what's going on the phone line. Then as the U.S. Army is progressing, they start building new ones closer to the phone line. So very often you get recycled by the farmers around here.
Alright, here at the farm, became like paratroop headquarters. Actually, this farm was for sale last year, 500,000 euro, and of course came with the surrounding fields. Used to be 6 bunkers around, but go back to the video, show you more info about that.
I guess it depended where you were. Normandy of all the Allied troops. His lands just right here. His name is Captain Frank Lineman. Captain Frank Lineman is the commander of all the Pathfinders, and he is himself a Pathfinder of the 2nd Regiment. He has to create a drop zone normally just a mile south of here. So he lands in the field. He's first one out of the aircraft. He lands with his extinct cigar between his teeth. The rest of his team, the plane is flying this way, lands in and around the churchyard. One of them got stuck, one of his comrades got stuck in the tree. So he gathered his team, but that's because the drop zone is set up here. What you see there, it's the theoretical drop zone, where they had planned before D-Day to create the drop zone. So they actually had a good landing area, good landing drop pattern. It's just the drop zone was not where it was supposed to.
And this is beyond the...
It's the same. I always say the best way still in 2018 to send a coded message is with a pigeon carrier. There's nothing better that will ever be created. But you can have all the technology you want, but a pigeon is always the best way. He got misdropped. Yes, he broke his legs. So so arriving from the drop zone is the commander of the 2nd Battalion. He's the one supposed to take care of the headquarters and the barracks. He captures first the headquarters. He had 150 men with him. The headquarters are abandoned. The German officer was not here when they got here. And then he's taking care of the whole regiment because the regimental commander is missing. He has broken his leg. So he first go check the battery. job of the 1st Battalion of that objective is given 15 soldiers, so the size of a squad, but that's all we can provide him. They are already fighting the Germans elsewhere, the other ones. So one sergeant with 50 leading 15 soldiers against 150 Germans.
What time of day is this?
9 a.m. on the 6th.
9 a.m. so after daylight.
The sergeant, I'll show you a picture of him. His name is Sergeant Summers, Harrison Summers.
Do the Germans even know that they're here yet?
Some of them do, some of them don't. That's what's very surprising. He's Tommy gun and kills 4 Germans. The rest of the Germans escape through the back door and rush to the second building over there. The 15 men that were with him, they still don't want to follow him. So he just kept going by himself. Assaulted the second building. Second building was empty. Eventually one of the 15 men decided to help him. It was Private Burt. Private Burt has a machine gun. He lays his machine gun here alongside the road to provide himself with fire. Because now the Germans are shooting back. The Germans are in the 3rd building, right over there. And from loopholes in the building, here they were shooting at Summers and Private Burt. But thanks to the suppressing fire of Private Burt and the zigzag running of Summers, he managed to get to the rear of the building, get through the back door, and kill the 6 Germans that are inside that building.
2, you said?
And here 6 more Germans are killed. Several of them were captured. So the prisoners that were captured were given to the 15 men that are following, not fighting but following. And a 3rd man joined them, who got impressed by this man, this Summers, that was almost leading by himself this assault. So now you have 3 men. You have Private Burt, who has his machine gun, who is a bit behind and providing suppressing fire. And then storming the buildings, 2 men are taking turn. You have Sergeant Summers and a 3rd man, which is Private Camion. The 7th one.
There's still 125 or
7th one is over there. 8th building is the one with the red roof right here. The men are still at I said they're taking care of the prisoners and resupplying also the 3 men with ammunition. So they're going back and forth to the headquarters where the official historian of the US Army arrived from Sainte-Mélise. So block the road right there to avoid having any counterattack down exit 3 towards Utah Beach. And at 7:30, which is an hour after the landings on Utah Beach. And that's it. That's the battalion that probably lost the fewest men on D-Day. They barely lost anyone. It's 4.5 kilometers to the left. And on the morning of the 6th, you have the full 4th U.S. Infantry Division walking down this road, moving inland to link up with the paratroopers. Something they did in the next town at noon. Only 400 people living here, but that's much larger than most of the towns we've seen so far.
Did you say it?
400.
400 approximately. Here, that's the former retirement home of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont before the war, and they have still German drawings inside that building. The construction worker, one of the construction workers told me. Actually, the way you can find out who liberated the area, if you arrive somewhere there's a Canadian flag, that means that's the Canadian. You see Talberts, that's again the man with the German poncho. They were standing in front of that monument right there. They took a picture because once they get here, they met men of the Utah Beach of the 4th Infantry Division. That's where the first seaborne troops they were seeing. So they were quite happy about that, and they took a picture with them in the morning of the 7th. So the men in the foreground the front row are paratroopers of his company. We have 4th group right here, 506 regiment. A lot of them landed in around here. The 506 has so at the intersection we were 4.5 kilometers, so it must be 5.5 now, so 3 miles. 3-4 miles. For the water damage to this church. He also sent a picture of the howitzer they had used from the field to fire at the church. Again, you can see the hole right there. You know what Maxwell Taylor did after the war? Have you ever heard about this name? Maxwell Taylor was a military advisor to Secretary of Defense McNamara, and he encouraged President building a man called Joe Gavin, that probably you heard about yesterday.
Yeah.
So Joe Gavin, he tells these two MPs that he killed the square. There's a gentleman hiding in my confession.
So the dust you're talking about came from?
And by the way, I don't have a picture here. The commander of the top. Two Germans. There were actually 2 Germans hiding inside. And the Germans who were injured came out to surrender at the confessional. And they kept just the old confessional. Some of them stayed, but they were farmers, a lot of them like the harvest.
Yeah. Let's move to the side, I'll get you fixed.
When we heard about the strike, I got online. Al had made all these.
Next door to the Marie Dumont church, little war museum, bunch of memorabilia, souvenirs, pretty cool. Here's a closer look.
Quite a bit of souvenir or something. Well, you had some stuff. Foot powder.
And also they grow very quickly.
It was occupied in 1944.
It was occupied, yes, you're right. I say like any chateau in this area.
By Germans.
Occupied by Germans. Just behind us on the right, it's tree line. So first he gets rid of his parachute and he starts crawling toward the gate. On the 8th of June, Jumpy 2 days later came back and established his headquarters in this chateau. A nice place for headquarters. And yes, today it's abandoned.
Really?
No one lives in the building. There, so he sets some 100 of his men into a defensive position right there, facing north. And along that Gavin Ridge, just on the other side of the road, and then he sent 50 of his troops toward the last captors. The original had 6 gates, they put 6 here, and then they added 2 more gates later when they kind of expanded the lock. So the way it works is, you see, I said these fields are below sea level. It's hard to see it now, but do you see the mark over there on the wall? That's where the water comes at high tide. Yeah. So what happened for many years is at high tide the water comes here, floods the fields. And the fields are just a marshy area for most of the year, except in the every day, every 12 hours, there's the water coming in, flooding the fields. So the locals made a lot of construction in the 18th century. First, they built these river lock. Then they built embankments on the side of the river to force the water to come here and not go on the banks of the river. So you have an embankment built from here all the way to the ocean. The ocean, if you follow the river, it's farmhouse east. Maybe then they build the river lock, and then once the water would come in, and would start to
Alright, so just cover a bunch of good information on the river locks back here. This used to all be flooded. It was pretty amazing. Learned quite a lot so far on this tour, and yeah, happy to share that.
there. In that little ditch taking cover in it. Motors, we covered several motors. They have motors that are put on that field over there. So that one was dry. But quickly he wants to negotiate the German commander. He knows he's almost out of bullets. So Johnson grabs a white flag at his headquarters there, and with 2 of his soldiers waves the white flag and walks toward the German lines. So several Germans came to meet him and explains to them that he wants them to surrender. While the Germans explain, we'd like to surrender, but our officers wouldn't let us surrender. And Johnson decided that he had to do something, so he decided to bluff. He gave an ultimatum to the Germans. He said, you have 30 minutes to surrender, or you will be annihilated by our superior forces. Knowing that he has fewer men and no more bullets. Well, the Germans walked back to their lines, and the firefight resumed, but after 30 minutes, suddenly some of the Germans stayed to raise their hands, and little by little, over several hours, all the men eventually came to surrender to them. And the result is, by the end of the 7th, they had captured 350 Germans.
How many men?
And in the 2-day fight, they had killed 147 Germans. Colonel Johnson on his side had 28 men killed in these 2 days. From the mortar fire and the fight with the Germans here. I just noticed that you changed seats. You get promoted. Business class. They get cover from the hedgerows on each side. But eventually they get to the gates, and Lieutenant Schmidt is at the front of the column. No more cover from the hedgerows on each side of this sunken lane. So as he gets here to this gate, the German opened fire on Schmidt from over there. Do you see the building on the left with the black roof?
Yes.
There's a hole on the wall. It's a hole made by a German sniper. A German sniper shot him from here as he was standing by the gate, and shot him and killed him. His paratroopers then took cover behind that wall over there on the right, shooting back at the sniper. That's why you see smaller holes around the sniper hole. But with that success, they didn't get to hit the German, and 3 more paratroopers got wounded, and so they evacuated back to where they came from, to Ongoville.
This road
That's more how all the roads around here like in 1944.
Yes.
It would look more like that.
and this road would actually go to the beach, I guess.
Not straight to the beach. That's the church used to treat the sorters.
Yeah, we came from that direction.
Then the drop zone, well, they all got dropped. 50% of the 501st Regiment. There's a farm in the far. Much traffic in Paris because it'll be around Paris around noon or so. So you're driving?
Two of us driving.
Oh, so he's also driving.
Yeah.
I have a creperie here on the left. There they serve pizzas, paninis, kebabs, so it's more quick.
What's that one on the left there?
Creperie. That's my recommendation there at the creperie. Get the escalope normand, the chicken breast.
That one there?
That's across the square, and it says creperie coquini. So you have a restaurant at the corner.
Yeah.
But it's across the
That's
street.
across the street.
I heard the full story, but he was apparently stuck up there for several hours.
Just had an amazing lunch. And I'm about to finish the rest of this tour.
Thinking that his weapon is on the main square, so he first tries to get it back. Starts walking back toward the square, not knowing that there are dozens of Germans there. Then another soldier land next to him. His name is Private John Hall. A group of Easy Company soldiers on the same road. There's one called Bill Garnier. That's the Italian-American soldier from Philadelphia. It wasn't his idea. Lieutenant Winters asked him once why 400 carriages get to this junction, and suddenly there's one man that disobeys the orders. Who is it?
The guy lost his brother and...
The guy who lost his brother. I told you about the Holy Battery that Captain Patch used for the steeple. The other one is just right here. And this one is currently shooting at the 4th U.S. Infantry Division moving inland from Utah Beach. But there are 55 Germans over there on a defensive position. Winters on his side has gathered now only 13 members of his company. So he's going to have 13 men against 55. The monument of the company, listing the names of all the soldiers of his company who died in Normandy. It's a total of 25, that most of them died in the same plane crash. 17 out of the 25. So they lost only not at this road, but further back, but in that direction.
And they don't know that Winter's company is coming yet.
No, it's actually of these guns that stopped the battalion staff. Because they were heading toward exit 2 and they heard the gun firing. So they stopped in the hamlet to establish their command post.
I'm sure that line is electrified. that one, that single.
Yeah, with the wire.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see these blue box there. That's where the one of the hoses was. Well, the same level but in the hedgerow. I'll show you a map of the. Well, I'll show you the routes we followed first. Winters lands here, walks down here, ambush the Germans here. Then he turns south, heads toward here. Here it's split the Lieutenant Colonel Cole that went toward exit 3, whereas he kept going. Eventually get to this road, right there. And just before he reached this junction on exit 2, he stopped at the battalion's headquarters, and the guns, they are just right here, shooting that way, direction of exit 2. The guns the Germans are using are medium-sized howitzers, 105mm howitzers. You have the same equivalent in the US Army, 105mm howitzers, so 4-inch howitzers. They have a range of 7 miles approximately, firing high explosive shells, sending shrapnel 30 yards around, a very deadly weapon for the infantry. They are in the hedgerow there. And I don't know whether they're listening to the story, they know it yet. They've heard it from me before. So we're standing just right here, and you have a gun 4, well you have the blue box, 3, howitzer 2, howitzer number 1, Observer number 1 is in the hedgerow next to the gate, just to the left of the gate over there. These 4 guns are linked together by a trench system running alongside the hedgerow. And to protect the artillery gunners who are facing that direction, to protect their back, the Germans have 5 machine guns in their back. 2 machine guns by the gate here, 3 machine guns in that hedgerow there. That's the main issue, but there's also a 6 machine gun located directly into the trench system in the corner of the field, right there, pointing towards in the direction of the hamlet. So they had a big pile of German bodies on the main square where we stopped. So he wanted to find a Luger, so he went there and started to search the German bodies. The commander, First Lieutenant Anderson, is coming down here. Then for several days, the tank is burning. The tank commander is hanging from the hatch. So eventually, when this area was captured by the 101st Airborne Division, they nicknamed this junction the Dead Man's Corner, the main post of the German paratroopers. He's now that's the man that was giving you the speech. He gave the most famous pep talk on today. So the pep talk so famous that he was quoted by Ronald Reagan at Tony Hawk in 1984.
Soldiers, I need your attention. If the weather forecast
get to that church. Across the highway, the new highway that exists. We are at the Maison du Parc, right there. 4 rivers. We're by the first one right there. The second bridge is by the Doubs River. The third river is missing, and the fourth one is just right there. So everything that is in light blue is flooded. The situation is the 101st is holding this area on the 8th of June. The 82nd, this area, they're still trying to cross that bridge over there. The 4th Division is moving north, trying to take care of 2 German batteries that are still active over there. And the 29th Division comes from Omaha Beach. They get to Pony Hawk in around noon on the 8th. By the afternoon, they capture Grand-Commézy. Then the US Air Force leveled that town that was on their way. The 29th Division was behind schedule, so to save them some time, they leveled that town. They captured on the 9th. And on the 10th, just by this bridge over there on the Ville River, at 4 p.m., the 29th Division linked up with the 1st Gliderman that had crossed on foot this river in the flooded area and linked up with the advanced elements of the 29th Division. And by the 10th, the 29th was just right there, just outside of Carentan. Now, capturing Carentan is the job of the 101st. Thanks to reconnaissance plane flying all over this area, then notice that there's a German Panzer division coming from. Their material around, some fencing, some ropes that Cole and his men started to use to kind of complete the bridge and made the men cross the second river right over there. That's the pink building I was showing you in the far, on the same river as the lock.
Oh, right. Okay, so that one.
You have to remember that it's all flooded around. You don't have these trees on each side of the road. I'll show you a 1944 picture that I wrote later. And you have very steep edges as well, so you cannot even take cover on this. The 4 bridges. And 4. The German dive bombers. They get to bridge 4. There's a big metal obstacle in the middle of the bridge, but Cole's men managed to budge this obstacle just a little bit, giving them a 14-inch opening. So Cole then asked his men to take cover wherever they were on the left side of the road in this narrow ditch that existed on the left side of the road and wait for darkness. Then from 1 a.m. on the 11th of June, he made his men cross 1 man at a time, using the 14-inch opening. And 4 hours later, at 5 a.m., all the men are across. But he has only 250 men left, only, out of 600. He lost 350 from that bridge to this one. The worst losses were, of course, between bridge 3 and 4. So that's why it's now nicknamed Purple Heart Lane. So many men were awarded Purple Heart on that road. 6 a.m. on the 11th, you have 2 roads now. This road, right over there, leading to the town center of Carrington. And this one going around Carrington. No buildings around, so forget about these buildings. The only one that exists is that one. It's the one with the TV antenna there. Saying that it's the only building in this area, Cole thinks that's where the Germans must have the artillery guns. He thinks the artillery guns are in the orchard that existed behind the farm. So he asked his men to dig in positions on the field on the left side of the road, and then he sent 2 scouts toward the farm to find out about that. 2 scouts goes toward the farm, and as they get close, the Germans opened fire with machine guns from the building and from that embankment right over there. And then the German artillery fire resumed on their position in the middle of the field. There's a moment of panic. The men are running in all directions. Some of them want to go across the bridge. Well, they can't. You still have the big obstacle. So they trap between the German machine gun fire, artillery fire, the obstacle, and he sees his men getting killed one by one. So in this desperate situation, Lieutenant Colonel Cole, and you have a picture of the flooded area as well. Lieutenant Colonel Cole decides to lead a bayonet shot on the German position. So he had a forward observer of the 100. I was lucky last year as there was I came over here. Yes, people still living here. There's a curious story about it. The 12th, what they have to aim for is the church of Carrington. The Navy Tab, the paratrooper with the German poncho, found him a few seconds later, and he sees all worried. Lytton is.
So this town at that time was pretty well
A town like that, they usually force the population to leave the town. Fighting the Americans, they're afraid they start feeding their rifles and start shooting them as well. So they are positioned south of Carrington on a defensive line with the rest of the 5 or 6 regiments. On the morning of the 13th, the Germans counterattack with the Panzers. They almost managed to break through the American lines, and Lieutenant Welsh of Easy Company even blew up one of the tanks with a bazooka. At the moment when the Germans are about to break through with the German paratroopers, the 2nd Armored Division, also nicknamed Hell on Wheels, arrived from that road and rescued these paratroopers alongside the 29th Division and started to push south and stop the last German counterattack, and started then to push south through the German lines. And the Germans then are in full flight. And the 2nd Armored Division, that's a man you've heard about. It's a soldier called Robert Wright. You remember who's Robert Wright? You've heard a lot of names in 2 days for some of you. Robert Wright, Bob Wright, from Columbus, Ohio. They put an American flag in the World War I. That's again the World War I monument of Carentan.
What is that all about, or do you know? That World War I monument?
What is it?
Yeah, what does that signify?
It's Marianne, which is like the equivalent of maybe Columbia in the US, so like the allegory of France.
Every town has it.
Yeah.
In England too.
Yeah. Yeah, because every town has one man.
Mainly.
Yeah, completed on June 27, 44, and built by Meg.
21st.
And he was killed on June 21st, 44, building that bridge. So this is dedicated to him, because this bridge was built under German fire as well. And it's a bridge that could be built in...
I just finished our D-Day tour of the 101st Airborne. Amazing tour at overlordtours.com. Highly recommend it. So, yeah, tired. About 9 hours a day. Their guides, pretty knowledgeable. Pierre, knew like everything, and answer any questions. Gave a lot of knowledge. So you really learn a lot. And at €100 a person, it's a great deal. So, highly recommend it.